Akshay.
Hey Ananya,
What's up? How have you been?
I really like that we've both chosen to wear black today because
Yeah,
maybe
I'm
we're
in my
doing
pajamas.
neo-noir as a movie today.
That good one. I wish I thought so much before I
I didn't think it
dressed.
through. This was a shirt kept on the front shelf, so I was like, yeah, sure. Imagine if we decided to do that, like we dress up for each of our films. So like if we did another wedding movie, we'll be in full like sherwani and like lehenga choli and
We should
all.
ask our audience. Do you want that? Do you want us in like sherwani lehenga situation? Because we're like suckers for validation. We will
Yeah,
absolutely do
we'll do
that.
it. We'll do it.
Exactly. I even have a lehenga
Imagine,
in Mexico, so this is entirely possible.
and like if we decide ever to like break down Merry Christmas, we'll like one of us will be Santa Claus, one of us will be elf, like something we should
Yeah. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Breakdown Besties podcast. I'm Ananya,
I'm Akshay.
and together we are your Breakdown Besties. Together we have a combined experience of 14 years writing some of the series which you've probably seen on Netflix, Amazon, and Disney Plus, like Mismatch, Wedding.com, Ishq in the Air, Shark Tank, Inside Edge, Rana Naidu, and Grahan, amongst others which have gotten stuck in development hell. At the Breakdown Besties podcast, we are trying to give you a film school experience, the kind that we never got but always knew would improve our craft. Over here, we analyze the movie and scenes to see what are the techniques, tropes, and all the other tips and tricks used on the page that help the movie come to life on the screen. We look at it, we understand it so that we can internalize it and then apply it. And now let's introduce our film, which you already know because you have clicked on the episode. It is Johnny Gaddar, 2007 film written by Sriram Raghavan. Additional script input, whatever that means, by Pooja Ladha Surti and Vinay Chaudhary. And additional dialogues by Atul Taishete. Right on. Okay, so I think the best way of getting into any film to like bring our audience into it is by talking about the log line, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what is the log line? The log line is the first technique we analyze, and it is the main building block of your film. It is your film in one line so that you're able to return to it as your guiding light. When you're not able to see the forest for the trees and you need to understand what you're doing within your script, when you've lost your guiding light, you refer to your log line. Why? Because it contains 4 essential elements that go on to define your story, your scenes, and sometimes even your dialogue. So, what are these 4 elements? They are conflict, flaw, stakes, and goal. Conflict is the main conflict which drives the story. It's the story engine. It's what the hero is constantly going to have to go up against during their journey in this story that we're taking our audiences through. Then we have the flaw. It is the fatal flaw, block, wound, or limitation that our hero has, which has stopped him all along his life journey so far from achieving the external goal that he's gotten onto the quest for during the course of this film. During the course of this film, ideally, he's supposed to overcome this flaw so that he can achieve his goal. Stakes. What are they set to lose should they not achieve their goal? It's not just about achieving their goal. If they don't achieve it, there have to be consequences which take you below your goal. Those are your stakes. And your goal is, of course, the main thing your hero is after throughout the course of the film. It's the journey we're going on, right? So for Johnny Gaddar, I have a log line written down,
Okay.
and I will read it out to us. Okay. So, when a gang member wants to acquire the money to run away with the co conspirator's wife, he must successfully dupe the gang and flee, lest he get caught and killed.
That's amazing. So succinct, no?
Yeah. It's like the film, right? The film was
Huh.
a very simple story,
Yeah. Yeah.
essentially, right?
And yeah. It, I don't know why I'm surprised, but like that logline really like was so crisp.
crisp, yeah.
Yeah.
And it contains all the elements, so I'll break it down into our elements. The first conflict, which is the story engine, is successfully dupe the gang. So that is what he does throughout the film. That's what generates our conflict. It's the story engine. The goal is acquire the money to run away and flee. Right? The stakes are he will get caught and killed. And the flaw, block, limitation, or wound, which in this film he doesn't overcome. But inferring from all that I've said, while I've not written it directly into the log line because it's not something he overcomes, the flaw is that he is disloyal. He's going after his co-conspirator's wife, and that is the flaw. It's not something he overcomes. It's not like he learns that, oh, this is like bad, nahi karna chahiye. But this is what is driving him.
Do you not think there is one more element in this? The flaw is not just running away with the co-conspirator's wife, but also vying for a bigger share than actually promised to him. I don't know how to bring that out.
Okay. So to give context to our listeners, vying for a bigger share is because they were going to pull off a scam where everyone would get 50 lakhs at the end. They would invest 50 lakhs and get 1 crore each at the end of it. But Neil Nitin Mukesh's character was going to steal everyone's share and run away with 5 crores instead of 1 crore. I understand what you're saying with that, but I don't think they've ever drawn attention to the fact that he's going to be stealing from these people for the sake of stealing. It's always stealing for the sake of running away. So now that you say it, logically, I can say that yes, 1 crore is enough for him and the wife character, Minnie, to run away and have a new life in Canada, which is the goal. But at no point did I stop to question the logic that why is 1 crore not enough and why do they need 5 crores? So I don't think he was duping those people for the sake of duping them. He was duping them in order to be able to run away. So I wouldn't say that it is a separate goal, like it's a separate flaw. I would just say he's disloyal, and in a bid to get away with his disloyalty, this is what he has to do. And he's being disloyal in 2 ways, right, if you think about it. He's being disloyal by cheating, by stealing his gang member's wife, and by stealing money from them. So I think it's just disloyalty which is manifesting in a couple of ways.
Fair.
Right?
Yeah, that's the blanket term which we can use for this. So, and like logline has to be succinct anyway. So that's good to like do that.
Right. Disloyal, yeah. So those are the 4 elements of the logline, and you will see how this plays out throughout the film. So do we have anything else to add on the logline, or should we go into the hero's journey?
Let's break it down, bestie.
Okay, so the hero's journey. The hero's journey is a conventional storytelling structure which has been formalized, I'd say, in our narrative terms by Joseph Campbell, but was being adopted far long before that by the Greeks and everyone else to tell stories. What it does is it organizes the events of the story in emotional order such that the audience experiences an event which gets them an emotional hit to continue going on the journey throughout the course of your film. Sometimes, even when your story is a little weak or your characters are not as developed, as long as you give them these emotional hits every few beats, you know that you are taking the audience on a journey where they more or less like to stick around. The hero's journey is not something you need to map every beat to as you go into the writing process. But once you're done with the first or second draft and you're doing a pass for structure, it's always good to cross-check your story, your beat sheet especially, with your hero's journey beats and see whether you're hitting all the marks, more or less. So, our first beat of the hero's journey is the ordinary world. In this beat, we set up the world in which the hero exists before they go into their journey. What their life is, what's holding them back, how they live. In this story, we see it with Neil Nitin Mukesh's character. He is a member of a gang that runs a gambling den and also seemingly smuggles drug, but they call it like furniture, so they've never explicitly referred to it.
Yeah.
He is hooking up with the wife of another gang member, Shardul. Her name is Minnie, and Minnie and Vikram, Neil Nitin Mukesh's character, actually get on really well, and she wants him to be serious, and
Which
she
he
wants.
is.
He is. There's no
Huh.
question
Yeah.
about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And that is their world, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
The call to action is your next beat. The call to action is when your hero is invited into the new world. He is invited into the world where he can go on the journey to achieve what he wants to achieve, right? Now, I believe this could be a point of discussion for us, Akshay, that sure. So there are two beats here. The first beat is where they're all in the gang, like den in the adda, and they're discussing this new offer that has come in of moving drugs slash mal slash French furniture. But the call to action comes when Minnie says that I am done living with Shardul, let's run away from here. And he's like,
Yeah.
where will we run away? Will we go to like Manipur? Or...
Manipur.
Yeah. Like, no, he'll come after us.
Yeah.
So then they decide that they will go to Canada, which is why they
Yeah.
need the money. And that is his call to action. Minnie saying that I want to run away from here is Neil Nitin Mukesh's call to action.
I completely agree. That's what I have written as well.
Okay.
Not the prior thing, because I feel like
Yeah.
that's something which will be happening in regular life. That's not a new task
Exactly.
that's not a new task for this gang to achieve. But what would be new for our main character is that the outcome of this is that he is going to use the money from this deal and run away.
Yeah.
So there is inherently more stake on this particular deal as compared to any other deal which existed.
Absolutely. Exactly. Perfect. I'm glad we're on the same page there.
Yeah.
Perfect. Then refusal of the call. Do you think there's a refusal of the call where the hero is like, no, I'm iffy about going on this journey?
I think there's a slight refusal in this very same scene where he says that matlab, we're not gonna get 2.5 crores, so it's gonna be divided by 5. So I personally felt it's not a complete refusal, but you understand a little bit of the hesitation because if he didn't have that, he would not have planned all the next steps which we see in the movie. The deal could
Right.
have gone the way it did, but
Yeah.
had he not been motivated that, oh, I can uh, launder all of the money for myself, he wouldn't have gone on to this journey. So I
Correct.
felt that could be a small refusal.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
it's not done in the most clear way, which is like, no, I can't do this. And I think it works in this film because all the characters are so gray, like it's not a complete yes or no. So I think that works.
Yeah, exactly. For sure. It's hesitation. Which
Yeah.
is hesitation to get into the new world.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then meeting the mentor. I think the mentor character is Dharmendra's character, Seshadri. And meeting the mentor is when Dharmendra's character explains the plan. Because that's when
Okay.
you know this is what's going to happen, this is what's going to happen, this is what's going to happen. Because he's essentially mentoring him through it, the plan. Then, of course, he decides to branch out. But Seshadri is the leader, and that's how I saw him as the mentor character.
That's interesting because again, for me, the planning which this is happening, like they must have done multiple deals like this. It was not a new plan for them. So I actually thought the moment where he watches the movie, that sort of, it's not a full mentor character, but
Yeah.
to me, how I associate meeting the mentor is like it gives him the final push to cross the
Push,
threshold.
yeah.
So I
Right.
thought that when he was watching that Amitabh Bachchan movie, that when we come to know that he can take a flight instead of a train and reach the same location again. I
Yeah.
thought that gives him like a plan of action that he could do, and Again, I
Yeah.
know like a mentor should come back in the later and somewhere in the film, and that doesn't
Not
happen in this way.
necessarily.
Not
Yeah.
necessarily.
I don't think so. Why does a mentor needs to guide you, right? Like, and when the
Right.
guidance is over,
Yeah.
it's fine. No, I think you're right.
Huh.
It is the film, interestingly enough. I didn't think of it from that perspective, but yeah.
Because at the same time, what also happens is that the other team member, Prakash, and his wife are also watching another Amitabh Bachchan movie, and
Yeah.
he is the one who using that film, he convinces her also to put in her money for the plan. So I thought that because like it's something intentionally done there, so
Yeah.
I thought that could be the mentor thing.
Yeah, I agree with you. That is that. Yeah, film is the mentor. Nice, nice, nice catch. Uh, then we have crossing the threshold. I've got crossing the threshold as buying the chloroform, where he buys
Yeah,
chloroform because that's the first active step into the world where he's like, I am going to dupe these people. So he goes and buys chloroform to see whether how long it will take to put someone to make someone faint or
yeah,
unconscious with chloroform.
yeah.
Right?
But
Then
to
we
me
go to
also,
test.
to me also, it felt that crossing the threshold came in a little bit of a sequence that he was assessing that how can he do it. So like he did the chloroform bit, and I also
Yeah,
thought the moment of coin tossing is when like
sure.
should he not do, like that's the final nail in the coffin for
Yeah,
that. So like that whole sequence becomes the is the beat for crossing the threshold.
definitely. Yeah, I agree with you. Yes,
Yeah,
yeah. Perfect. And after the coin tossing, essentially tests allies and enemies begin, where he makes the trip, goes to Pune, establishes an alibi in Goa, uh, speaks to the lawyer, who is also Sesha's friend, and all those sequences until he goes undercover to the train station on the night the deal is supposed to happen. On the night, Shiva, which is played by, I don't know the actor's name, but Daya Darwaza Tordo.
I think his real name is Dayanand only.
Oh, really?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. So, Daya is supposed to, for context, Daya is supposed to go with the 2.5 crores from Bombay to Bangalore via train and give it to a police officer in Bangalore called Kalyan. So, Dharmendra's character, Sesha, drops Shiva off at the train station and leaves. Neil Nitin Mukesh and not in disguise, but really covered up,
Like
gets
a
into the
mask. Huh.
train, masked up, yeah, gets into the train with the intention of stealing the money from Daya. That is the approach to the innermost cave, right? Stealing the
Yeah.
money. So Neil Nitin Mukesh tries to steal the money from uh, Daya slash Shiva.
Shiva's character. Yeah.
Shiva's, yeah, from Shiva, and because Shiva is a man who really can't be taken down easily, they get into a scuffle. And while Neil Nitin Mukesh didn't mean to kill him, he does end up killing him and tosses him out of the train. That is the approach to the innermost cave, right?
I found it too funny. Like the moment he's like, it's so simple, like just to throw somebody off.
Yeah. But we'll get into that in the world of the film. I think
Yeah.
it's.
Yeah.
Um, and then we have the ordeal where
Hmm.
Shiva's death is reported in a newspaper. Dharmendra's character calls Vikram over and says, "Look at what's happened." And then in that scene, Dharmendra finds out that it was actually Neil Nitin Mukesh's character who has stolen the money, and there's going to be consequences for Vikram. In that moment, Vikram has to figure out how to get himself out of the situation, and as they do in these films, he kills him. That is the ordeal, and he has to escape as Prakash and Shardul also come to the scene, and until he finally leaves, and now the money is, for now, his. So that is the end of your ordeal, according to me. Right?
I actually thought the ordeal was till extended to a much later time where, uh, you know, like the police inspector also comes, because like that's such a, like that throws again the story in a completely different gear. So I thought that also was part of the ordeal, and the fact that he confessed to the police inspector, like that became sort of like a that like that to me that felt like ordeal.
Ordeal, yeah. I think we can pull the ordeal up to the point where they kill the police inspector
Huh?
also,
Yeah, yeah.
right? Because the
I wouldn't
energy
that
is
I thought that's the reward. Like that's
killing the police inspector.
yeah, like that, because no, because that's sort of like that's the victory for them, that oh, they've killed him, so now the threat which was existing to them is now over. Uh,
I don't know. I mean, that is subjective because you can say that even when they kill Dharmendra's character,
hmm,
and that threat is over because this is not an official police investigation. It's the policeman who also lost his business, lost his cut.
right. That's true.
So
Yeah.
yeah, what I and because I had this question too,
Hmm.
and the reason I capped it at having killed Dharmendra's character is because of the way that scene plays out.
Hmm.
The scene constantly builds. It's a pressure cooker scene. We'll talk about it when we go into scenes. But after that scene, once he's escaped, there's a sigh of relief. And he's like, okay, this is done. Now I have to deal with the smaller guys. He has taken the big guy and gotten rid of him. Like, and they've even shown this, I'm digressing a bit now, that this guy is someone, like Dharmendra's character is someone Neil Nitin Mukesh can't fuck with. Because when Neil Nitin Mukesh goes to give him the money initially, and something happens and he tells Dharmendra that at your age you're going to do this, and Dharmendra grabs him immediately and says, you know, like puts him on the floor and goes like, it's not about age, it's about mileage. And that shows us, I thought that scene was a power move that shows us that Dharmendra's character is the is the biggest kingpin in this. So
Yeah.
once he has been taken down, I believe that, especially given the way that scene is constructed, what happens after is the road back, because he has to deal with much smaller conflicts and antagonists on the way back. They're not your big villains until Shardul ends up being the big villain towards the end of it, because it's his wife that he's running away with. So
That's interesting because yeah, all noted. But what you said about the sigh of relief, like I also thought that also was felt, which becomes a once the police inspector was killed, and in some way, like they've only showed brutality with the police inspector, like he cuts the finger of Shiva's girlfriend. So that made me think that he's the bigger threat to Neil's character. So
yeah,
that's what I thought, that reward, like that's the reward of that. Uh,
that.
but I guess all of it essentially comes down to that moment, right? Like,
Yeah.
uh, but till the when the police inspector is killed. So whether you consider
Yeah.
that in your ordeal or not, I think it's understandable, because I think
Yeah.
especially these filmmakers and I think these kind of movies that keep it's not so direct, because it's not the biggest commercial blockbuster movie, right?
Yeah.
It's not like Marvel Disney film. It's not one of your big tentpole films. It's something which like I think it's so auteur and like a cult classic of that sort. Uh, so I think in these kind of movies, these phases do get a little bit muddled up.
Fair enough. Yeah, yeah. I think it's more about the feeling it elicits emotionally.
Yes,
Whether,
yes.
like, for you, the feeling of that ordeal was like a lot. For me, with the police officer, for me, in fact, I was on my phone during parts of that, because I'm just
Uh,
like, I am not invested in this character at all. Ye aa gaya, and all he's doing is being brutal.
yeah.
There was no emotional investment, so for me, that felt like a road back for me, like when I
I
watched
get that. I get that. Like even I was a little distracted during that time because it also felt a little more longer and dragged than compared to the previous sequences of the film.
it. Yeah.
So I get that. Uh, Another reason for me to like consider that as the moment of reward, because the road back which happens after that, it sort of leads us to the resurrection point where, he comes to know that those notes were not real. So, so hence that was another reason for me to think of that moment as the reward.
Got it, got it. Yeah, it could be. I
Yeah.
think so. The sequence from killing Dharmendra to the sequence where they kill the police officer can be considered the ordeal and reward
What?
sequence,
Yeah. Correct.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
cool. And then the road back is leaves them with two adversaries. The first is Prakash, the man who took a loan by keeping his wife's parlor girvi, and Shardul, whose wife he's running away with. And Shardul obviously has to be the real man with the axe to grind with Neil Nitin Mukesh's character. He's the one who has to be given the final showdown because
Yeah.
they're fighting over the same woman. And the so until the moment where they kill Shardul is your road back,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then hiding Shardul's body, getting rid of all the proof, taking his car away, ensuring that their tracks are clean. That is your resurrection.
Yeah.
And for everyone who's not watched the film, Neil Nitin Mukesh's character gets shot at the end. It's a 2007 film. It's 20 years old. Like, watch it.
Yeah.
19.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spoiler, but please, no spoiler. Yeah.
So, because he gets killed by Prakash's wife, which we'll talk about when we talk about subplots, there is no return with the elixir.
Yeah.
Right? So, this is our hero's journey. Pretty solid for this film. Hits 11 out of 12 beats
Yeah.
and takes you on the emotional journey. Cool. What do you want to go into next?
Why don't we talk about the world? Because
Sure.
that would be so different than everything we've done so far.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you have on the world?
I thought the world was a very interesting, like it's like a mini world which exists of these particular set of people. Like we don't, it's not that each of their characters become too expansive. Like Neil Nitin Mukesh, it's just him. No family, nothing. Like we have nobody's families, we have no friends, we have nobody else. So it seems like this is a very contained world of these 5 or 6 people, and every dynamic which has to ensue happens between these 6, 7 people, right? So it's the 5 gang members, 2 of them have their wives, and 1 police inspector. That's literally the entire. There's nobody else in this world, including police. No, like nobody else. So I thought that was an interesting call to take about the film world of this movie. That how do you contain a movie like this? Because in what ends up happening in like a crime thriller movie of sorts, like the world can get super expansive, right? So, and it's hard to like keep the drama intact because you're always fighting the bad guys. Like it's all just those action sequences. But what makes it interesting is that all of it stems within the characters themselves. So I thought that was very interesting about the world, which I think was also very consciously done.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I see that. Keeping it contained is essential in films like these because otherwise you can't explore the characters. And because this is a movie of where one person is cheating, etc., I think getting into characters' heads are a little more important, that we understand them. It's not just plot driven, because the plot is very simple here.
Yeah.
So keeping it contained so that you can dive deeper into these characters is important. Yeah. I think another thing about the world which I really liked is, which is true to this genre, but it doesn't really fall in the genre tropes category, is the fact that in this world everyone owns guns. Right? It is normal. And everyone is killing everyone and there are no consequences, right? But if you analyze the way it's done, there are no consequences until they have a police officer on their side. If you look at it. When Vikram kills Shiva, when they kill Shesadri, and then when they kill the police officer, and there's no investigation or anything. But when Prakash's character is killed and thrown into the place where they always shoot in Pavai, and
Yeah.
everyone shoots there.
Yeah.
The one spot we have with tall buildings in a lake, but
Yeah.
and they put the car, they drop the car into the thing. Then when you see the car being pulled up, there is police. So I thought that was an interesting truth of the world, which they've not explicitly mentioned, but while they had police protection, police didn't come after them. But then we started seeing police a little more. Then when Neil Nitin Mukesh's character got killed, we cut back to the opening scene, which was a flashback, and you have the police van. So there is a certain internal logic within this world, which is important when you're writing a story like this to, like, the world is not decoration. It gives you the elements with which you can play and define the logic of your film.
That's a very interesting thought. In my head, whenever like that's happening, I'm like, huh, who cares about the police? Like like that's the idea, right? Like if you get into logic, how will you write it? Like because
Yeah.
today everything is so CCTV cameras, phone cameras, like everything is just
Yeah.
so visible. So, but what you explained, that makes sense. Like the filmmakers did try to sort of put some sort of a boundary to it, and that's nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Plus, this was 2007, so I think we weren't as digital as a world as
Yeah,
we are right now.
yeah.
Right? Yeah. So that's what I have on world.
I have one more interesting thing about the world is that I think
Yeah.
the way it looks is that a lot of the you can understand the filmmakers' love for cinema and literature in different ways. So like they have recurring motifs of like films being played, books being read,
Yeah.
and they somewhere translate into the psyche of these characters. So
Yeah.
whether it's like, when Shiva is introduced, he's watching that Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman film, or Prakash and his wife are watching an Amitabh Bachchan film. Um, then Vikram's character is watching a film when he gets the idea to make this plan. And he's reading this book when he's like about to have this hallucination. Like, all of it.
Yeah.
And it made me wonder that is this something a force fit? Because sure, like, like filmmakers like to give homages to something which they love, and it's their way of doing it. But it's also like a more broader thought and like more real thought, because when you look at people around you, a lot of them do find aspiration and ambition in film, right? So the fact that, oh, Amitabh Bachchan could do this, like who thought he'll be a superstar? Like, so why can't we be? That idea of that cinema is about what we want our lives to be, I think really comes into the psyche of these characters somewhere. And it's
Nice.
like consciously done in like different ways. Like even the name Johnny Gaddar comes from like that film they were watching at the uh,
Yeah, an Amitabh Bachchan
hotel
film.
reception.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just thought like that was an interesting touch of the world.
Nice. Yeah, very cool. We see how the films in the world influence our characters.
Huh.
Yeah, and they act as the mentor too, which is what you mentioned earlier.
Correct. Yeah.
Nice. Okay,
Huh.
so let's go into scene construction next. So the first scene I think I want to talk about is the literal scene of Save the Cat.
Yeah.
And like a lucid field, like they took you literally.
Yeah.
So for the viewers, if you haven't seen it, Neil Nitin Mukesh's character Vikram has a cat throughout the film. You see them stroking the cat, and then he wants to go buy some chloroform to test whether how long it's going to take to get someone to become unconscious with it. And at the pharmacy, he's asked why does he need this, and he says, "I have a cat who I need to put to sleep. She's not well." He buys the chloroform under that pretext, and he comes home and he calls for the cat, and the audience is automatically scared, and except that once he makes sure his cat is okay, he goes to his room and he tries the chloroform on himself. Now, I think the scene works at two levels. A, it's a wonderful misdirection. Why is it a wonderful misdirection? Because this film is a neo-noir film at the end of the day. And if you've seen enough of those, you expect almost that, your villain is going to be like, oh, my animal, I love this animal, blah, blah, blah. But will then, like, kill it when it has to, because at the end of the day, they really only care about themselves, right? So this is a misdirection to show that this is not how he is. And B, also what I think they need audience empathy for his character throughout the film. Because you're going to see him commit a lot of murders, right? And sure, he's doing it for a woman, so you think that's okay. But when you have a character like this, an audience may wonder that he's doing this for a woman, but at the end of the day, the woman will also become someone he's going to control. But then by using the cat, maybe I'm overthinking this, but this is how it came across to me, that the cat is essentially helpless. And they make him not kill the cat. You show that this character is actually more human than the other characters. And he's a safe space for this woman character, like for her to be with him. So the scene works on two levels. It works at a misdirection level, which is a craft standpoint for the scene, and at a character empathy building level too.
That's interesting. Even I really like that sequence, which is also interesting because I want to talk about the sequence which is related to something like this, which is about creating empathy for Vikram's character, was that Vikram and Sheshadri's character, essentially, like, we know this is a world of crime and gang members and, like, betrayal and murders. Interestingly, both Vikram and Sheshadri, the first scenes of theirs in the film are introduced them in their relationships and love lives. So, like, Vikram's first scene is about, like, him surprising Minnie, and they're sleeping together, and she asks him, like, oh, ये सब time pass के लिए हो रहा है, and he's like, I'm not driving all this way for just time pass. So you immediately like these people before they get into the big dark heavy stuff. Similarly with the Sheshadri's character, that oh, he was missing his wife, he was grieving for her, and like he plays her music on loop. Like, all these are very real nice qualities about people, and so before introducing them as gang members and then going deeper and making their layers, these essentially tell them, oh, these are these people, and the gangness is all the extension of them. So, which I thought was interesting because it's essentially done to create empathy. Like, there's no other reason to do that. I also have other note about the same thing, that out of the 5 gang members, they gave 4 of them very loyal like qualities, right? Like, they were one woman man, like all of the except for Shardul. We've seen him going to these bars, whatever, like, frolicking with these women, being harsh to his wife. So I think that was also like a little bit of to make some sort of a difference. I think that could be one of the things.
They're telling you who to root for. They're like, Shardul, not good, don't root for him. Okay, what else do we have on scenes?
Okay, I want to talk about the coin tossing moment, where what we said about it was the moment of crossing the threshold. He has decided that he's gonna have a whole plan of his, but you also want to retain the innocence of the character a little bit. So to show them that he is hesitant, he is thinking 4 times more, because it does feel like, how did he suddenly decide to go ahead and do this? But we're showing that he has a little bit of a conscience. He is trying to do this. So I really like the element that he decides to do a coin toss, but then when he doesn't get the result he wants, he goes again. And I think they really nicely tapped into this psyche of somebody that you know what you want to do, but you're sort of like finding other reasons to do that. And I thought that was very interestingly done. This is also another way of retaining agency of a character. Because one of the common feedback which comes through, like, whenever we're writing something, is that, oh, your character is not active enough. Like he's being more reactive than active. What does he do? He doesn't do much. And my logic to that is, but that's also okay in some films because, like, if to give an example of say Harry Potter, like Harry Potter is the most inactive character of all time, right? Like he's always reacting to something. So, but that's something which you now in modern storytelling has become so important that every character needs to have an agency. So I thought that was done very interestingly because he didn't stop at that one moment when he didn't get it. So I thought that was
Yeah.
nice.
Nice. Yeah. Cool. Cool
Can I
technique.
also branch into personal anecdote from this?
Yeah.
Like I remember when we were at that crucial junction where we were deciding that we don't want to do follow our finance profession and enter screenwriting. It's something that I had done where I actually made a list of people I wanted to consult that before like taking the step, and subconsciously I only wrote the people who would say yes to it.
Yes. Yeah.
So, so I thought it was it really felt relatable in that moment that, oh, you know what you want to do, but you're just finding additional reasons to like
Yeah.
back this outcome.
Yeah. You're looking for a sign.
Yeah, you're looking for a sign. So I thought that was a very nice scene.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Next, I had the scene where I just wanted to talk about the power of intercutting, which
Hmm.
is when there's the scuffle going on between Vikram and Shiva on the train while he tries to steal the money, and they have an intercut of a TC character,
Hmm.
ticket checker
Hmm.
character, coming in, and that builds tension. So they're fighting, who's going to win, who's going to lose, is he going to be able to get rid of the body in time, and the TC coming in, taking his twists and turns, etc. Very simple, not a novel technique, but it keeps tension going. What's going to happen
Yeah.
now? So every time, especially in this genre of films, you want to create tension. This is a
Hmm.
great way of creating it. Intercutting. Simple always works.
It's one of my favorite screenwriting devices. And I
Yeah.
love intercutting. And just a bonus tip, I think everybody should check out the first episode of the fourth season of The Crown. They have this whole sequence where they're on a hunt. I think there are three different people at three different locations. They're doing a hunt for like say a deer or something, and it's the way the tension like keeps increasing. It's done beautifully. Everybody check it out.
How do you remember this? I've seen all of this, but I have no recollection.
And I remember actually talking to you about this, and you were the one who brought it up. We were like, you. I remember your message. We were like, bro, this is mad intercutting.
Wow, I have no recollection.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, cool. And another scene I want to talk about quickly before we talk about the big scene.
Hmm.
Another technique I spotted is using the world to bring conflict into the scene. We've spoken about this technique before, but this is a very simple way of doing it. This is the scene where Neil Nitin Mukesh is in Goa and he's trying to get the lawyer character off his back. So he goes onto the beach and he says, I'm meeting a woman. But the lawyer character just keeps looking at him and like waiting, where's this woman he's going to meet? Where's this woman he's going to meet? And Neil Nitin Mukesh knows that I'm in a bind. I need to figure this out. And he sees some like this gang of white people on the beach. So he goes up to them. And A, it's authentic to the world because there are lots of white people on the beach in Goa. Next, he says, guys, do you all want to be in a Bollywood film? And like that is such an easy way of getting like white people's attention, right? Like, do you want to be in a Bollywood film? Yes, everyone is instantly like, yeah, 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 sure. And he's like, okay, just wave there. So they wave. So it's a very cleverly done way where they've used the world. So even the micro world within our world of the film has been used to keep the scene authentic to the film, which is important as a screenwriting technique.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
And now we have the big pressure cooker scene, which is the scene of the ordeal where they ultimately kill Dharmendra's character. Right.
Whew.
Yeah, well done. Very, very interesting scene. This scene reminded me of the opening sequence of Munna Bhai, where it's just one thing after another, and you just don't know in which direction it's going to go.
Yeah. I think the way the scene is crafted sort of distinguishes like why it's like a noir film rather than a proper crime caper movie, because there is a lot of stay and restraint, and it's taken its own time. Like, I think the sequence is what, like 10-12 minutes long. I don't know, I could be wrong, but it's so it feels like a theater performance in some way. So I think it becomes a little bit of genre defining, that which a writer has consciously done, that this is not like a high paced crime movie. Like, it's not going to be staged like a whodunit, and it comes across as a very, oh, one information has happened, and another information comes in, another information comes in, another, and in a way that the consciousness of all these characters is kept very intact. In the say, so why don't I break it down a little bit? So he Vikram's character is called to Sheshadri's place, saying, and he comes to know that, oh, Shiva's character has been found dead on the tracks, and which Vikram already knows because he was the one who did that. So he has to now actively lie and pretend that, oh, this didn't happen, which he does very well. He keeps doing that, he keeps behaving naive. And then, very interestingly, when Sheshadri's character feels that his core team members have betrayed him, Vikram's character could have acted in a way like, oh, like, who do you think it is? But his first stance is, I don't think any of them will do it. So it's so interesting. Like, that's what is the element of surprise in this pressure cooker scene, that Vikram chooses to not throw other team members in under the bus immediately. No?
For sure, yeah.
And once he's trying to reason more and more with Sheshadri's character, and then Sheshadri thinks that, you know what, maybe Shiva himself did it because he's the only one who could like defeat himself. Still, our hero doesn't dial down. He continues to be like, oh, I don't think Shiva would be this. I don't think he would have done that. Only ultimately the scene sort of flips when Sheshadri catches a small detail, which is that, how do you know I went to drop Shiva at the train station? Because I think you saw me. And you think, oh my god, now what's gonna happen, right? Like, that's the biggest reveal of the film, is now out in the open to the biggest threat of the film so far. And again, you think there'll be another scuttle immediately, but again, the element of surprise comes that he confesses. Vikram confesses that, I did it, I'm sorry, now what to do about it? And again, you think the scene will end because, say, Sheshadri will maybe kill him. But again, you prove the moral conscience to be higher when Sheshadri is like, okay, fine, we'll deal with it. Let me call the others. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
And that's when finally Vikram is like, you know what? I just have to kill him, and he kills him. So, it was such interestingly done that every expected thing they did it differently. So I thought that was really nice.
Definitely, yeah. I think I've been trying to figure out what techniques, right? How do you give these names techniques? And I don't think there's a technique. It's just, how can I keep surprising the audience such that it is true to character? That is what you need to keep asking. Okay, so the next thing that we can go into is genre tropes. Yeah. I have one genre trope there, which I want to talk about in terms of why it's important, not in terms of what the trope is. So when you have a heist film like this, the trope which everyone knows, the scene which everyone knows, is the planning sequence, right? Is that you sit and you bring the audience in, you bring the characters in, and you say that this is what we're going to do. A is going to happen, B is going to happen, C is going to happen, right? Now, yes, this is a trope, but why is this a trope? We give this information to our audience Because we know that after they set this plan is not going to go as per plan. That is the point of this scene. Because if the plan went as per plan, then you don't have a film, right? Because there's no conflict. Because when you're planning for a heist sequence, the plan is essentially foolproof. Ki ye hoga, ye hoga, ye hoga. This is when they'll come at us. This is how we'll attack them. So nothing is going to happen. So either your plan then becomes a montage sequence where nothing goes wrong and you get rid of it quickly. But if it's supposed to be your whole film, like in this case, the plan is established. Why? So that it goes wrong. And why is it important that it goes wrong? And why is it important that you give this information up top? Is because when you've established what the plan is and then it's not going as per the plan in the rest of the film, it automatically creates tension. Because the audience has this idea in their head, ki, oh no, like they were supposed to unlock this door. They haven't unlocked this door, so the police is coming, the police is catching up. You don't need to set that up again. You probably don't even need to intercut again in that sequence. The information is in your head. You've set up the visual before, you set up the idea before. So that one scene has done your heavy lifting for both giving the information and creating tension. So it does exposition in the opening scene and it does conflict building in your next execution scene. So that's why I think it's a very solid genre trope. This is the reason it's a trope.
It's very telling of that other screenwriting technique, which is that if you want your character to fail, show the preparation.
Yeah.
And if they're gonna achieve it, then directly show the achievement.
Cool. Okay, now the next thing and the last thing I have to talk about is subplot. In a film, the purpose of a subplot is to serve the main plot and also to thematically explore ideas which are usually opposing or different to that being explored in the main theme of your A plot, right? So if a true relationship is being a happy relationship is being explored in your A plot, your B plot will have an unrequited love relationship or a relationship which could not be fulfilled, right? So thematically they represent different things. We see this where in our A plot we have Neil Nitin Mukesh's character, which is his story with Minnie, which is a plot of fighting for their love. Then we have a B plot with the Shardul and Minnie's relationship, which is a power dynamic where it's not a relationship of equals, which is about control. Then you have a C-ish plot, which is of Shiva and his nurse girlfriend, Vaijanti, which is about unrequited love and suffering for love. So I think while this the theme of this film is about power and power of love, they've also showed us the power of love in the various facets of it through the subplots. So subplots A are thematically different, and B, what all of them do is they also tie into the main plot. So Vaijanti's character, where she has a subplot of being Shiva's girlfriend, she is innocent, she's waiting for him to come back. She realizes that he's not coming back. She's tortured because she thinks she's hiding information. And ultimately, she is able to help kill the man who tortured her, like help kill the man who tortured her. So it shows us how, and that ties into the A plot of killing the police inspector, right? Then you have the biggest one, which is Prakash and his wife Varsha's subplot, right?
Yeah.
Their relationship thematically shows us healthy love and relationship. And that is the one that wins at the end of the day. So thematically, the film is making a very strong statement that it is love that is clean, pure, that is free of like cheating on your spouse or cheating on other people's spouses, that is healthy within itself, that wins. Where she has a healthy relationship throughout. Her relationship with Prakash is good. And then they think that it is, because Neil Nitin Mukesh is wearing Shardul's jacket, she assumes that it's Shardul and she believes Shardul was responsible for killing Prakash. So she kills Neil Nitin Mukesh under the assumption. So thematically and in serving the A plot very well, properly utilized as a storytelling device.
Subplot, yeah. I think it was one of the most efficient use of subplots I've seen in a while. Like in a lot of the films we've discussed, this became so important, and I think that's a good key to when you're reading the final script is to see if I take the beats of this subplot out, is there any way if the main plot gets affected? So, and if you realize that it doesn't, then you don't need the subplot. Then
You
that's a
don't need
problem.
the subplot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
So,
hmm.
cool. So, anything else on Johnny Gaddar?
I had a great time watching this. I was trying to research a little bit about the film, and it said that there was it ended on a cliffhanger that who gets the money now, and I was like, I don't care.
I don't care. No, no.
I'm assuming
And who's
somebody will
left to
find
get
it.
the money?
Uh, his wife, Minnie,
Hmm.
and
It's
I
the
think she should.
wives.
And I
Yeah.
think they both should at this point of time.
Both.
They're like, oh, we have
Yeah.
this life, let's just divide and live our lives peacefully.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, so thank you guys for tuning into another episode of Breakdown Besties. As you know, like, share, comment, subscribe, and subscribe to our Substack Companion Guide newsletter where you can find a concise breakdown of everything we wrote in everything we discussed in today's episode, as well as a couple of writing exercises thrown in, so that acts as almost a workshop handout after watching this episode with us. If there's anything else that you would like us to talk about the film industry, different movies that we'd like to break down, leave it down in the comments and we will definitely get to it. See you next week for another episode of Breakdown Besties. Bye.
Hi again, bestie. I hope you're having fun. I hope you're learning, and learning is fun. Uh, anyway, so in our next episode, we are breaking down the film Guru. It's a Mani Ratnam film which has Abhishek Bachchan, Aishwarya Rai, and a lot of other amazing cool people. So yeah, tune in next Thursday.